So the 2026 Formula 1 season will bring a massive change in the regulations for the upcoming seasons. The regulations have remained pretty much static ever since being introduced, the current ground effect cars being introduced in 2022, but 2026, next year, will bring a lot of change. Not only to how the cars are designed, but also the engines that are going to be put in them. Or are they? Well, there's an interesting article here on the F1Chronicle.com that is suggesting that Formula 1 is thinking about changing the engines, scrapping the engine revolution for 2026. This would be a seismic shift if it happens, but let's have a look. Full article on the F1Chronicle.com as always. Formula 1 is considering a plan to bring a green, normally aspirated V10 engine back to the grid sooner than was ever anticipated. Next year, the sport is scheduled to put its current 2014 to 2025 hybrid power unit era in the past, with a move to even heavier and more efficient electrified turbo V6 engines. However, driven by the exciting prospect of loud, light, simple, fan-pleasing V10s powered by 100% sustainable fuel, a contingency plan for the future has been bubbling behind the scenes for weeks, according to Automotor und Sport. Correspondent Michael Schmidt has said that one idea is to put the 2026 engines that are currently being feverishly developed behind the scenes on the back burner for 2 years, enabling a switch to green V10s in 2028. Even at an advanced stage of development, some teams are reporting that the 2026 regulations were too ambitious, he said. Apparently, they are arguing that the prospect of some cars running at greatly reduced speeds to recuperate energy raises safety concerns about crashes. Many are also concerned that the show could suffer, Schmidt added. He said that a V10 working group has been set up. The manufacturers who are putting the most pressure on the teams to do this are those who are already in the know, and they are behind with their 2026 engines, an unnamed insider said. Red Bull and Ferrari apparently support the V10 idea, while Honda, Audi and Mercedes are opposed to putting the 2026 engines on ice for a further 2-year period. We simply don't have enough current engines, argued team boss Toto Wolff. A backup plan under consideration is to allow the 2026 revolution to proceed, but to limit to just 3 years in total instead of 5, with the V10s arriving after that. Well, I can definitely believe the latter. I can definitely believe that by 2030, 2031, something like that, we could potentially have V10s back in the sport. But as for next year, no. I'm sorry, Herr Schmidt. I don't really believe that, to be honest. I'm not saying that he's not telling the truth there, but I don't think that's going to happen personally. He might have heard certain things or whatever from sources. I don't know. But to say that they're going to go back on that, I think would be a massive mistake, you know. Even if these new engines are not the best. And let's not forget, in 2014, people didn't like the engines. People did not. People still don't like the engines in Formula 1 these days. But the fact remains that those engines came in at a time when if they didn't come in, we could have ended up, I probably would have ended up with only 2 manufacturers of engines in the sport, those being Ferrari and Cosworth. Mercedes and Renault most likely would have left after that year instead of just Cosy going, so unfortunately that had to happen. The revolution with it, the technical innovation had to come into Formula 1 to keep those engine manufacturers, and in truth some of the teams as well. You know, we might have never seen Renault come back and stuff like that into Formula 1 as a works team, of course, so there is that too. Now, when it comes to these current ones, we've got new manufacturers coming in. We've got Honda coming in as a proper manufacturer, not just being a Red Bull, basically. We've got Audi coming in as engine manufacturers. We've got, eventually, we're going to have Cadillac coming in. And we've also got Ford coming in as an engine partner with Red Bull as well. So you've got all these engine manufacturers coming in, presumably on the proviso that you're going to have these 50-50 electrified engines. I don't know how passionate the likes of Cadillac are in it, but the fact that Ford are wanting to do it, Honda, Audi, all these guys are wanting to do it, you know, I mean, we're losing Renault, which is, you know, not ideal, but, you know, they're going to go whether we keep with the current engines or not. That's not going to change. So I don't personally see that happening. I think it's too soon. I would love for the V10s to come back, but only if they are under sustainable fuels, because otherwise it's just never going to work. It's not going to be feasible for Formula 1. Simple as that. So guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below on this. Are the V10s going to come back potentially as soon as 2026? I know, incredible. I don't really see it happening, but I want to hear your thoughts. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always, guys, and to see much more content on the world of Formula 1, do keep it tuned here to the F1Chronicle.com. Let's have a fantastic race this weekend in China, and we'll see you very soon.